Oh, should we bring the Buster Sword over?
Should I go get it?
Yeah, let's bring the Buster Sword over. I mean, I just want to make sure that we keep me in check.
Yes. It's not well balanced.
Yeah, it's not.
There's not enough weight in the handle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's fun though.
Welcome to anime.
I really love the details.
Here's your sword. It's too heavy for you.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the point. Is that when I'm talking too much, we hand me this sword.
So you can shut up faster.
This is my sign that I need to shut up. And in order to encourage me to shut up, I will hold it aloft, thusly, where my arm muscles will get tired. So that's what that's for.
And when you're not talking, you're going to pierce the carpet with it.
Yeah, when I'm not talking, I'm going to lay it gently here, where you guys can hand it. But to start off, we're going to talk appropriately about games we've never played.
Nice.
Because
very nostalgic.
Very nostalgic about games that we haven't even played yet. That fits with the theme. So the question is, desert island games, like games you'd have on a desert island, you have to pick 5 that you've never played, like not even a demo. You can have seen gameplay, but they can be games that like aren't even out yet. In fact, that's a really good source to pull from.
Oh, definitely.
If you want to think about like something that you've seen but it does have to be something that has a firm release date, like something that's definitely coming out. So not Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Single tear rolls down our cheeks.
Yeah. So like, I'm sorry, that one's disqualified. Because like the idea of this is that it's going to be something where we can look back on it in a few years. And we can be like, like after we've played these games that are on our list of 2 plays, and we can be like, oh yeah, that would have been a good desert island game. Mm-hmm. Or else we can be like, pass Elsa, that was terrible. You'd be miserable on that desert island.
What was I thinking?
Yeah, so...
What have I done?
Erin, would you like to go first?
Sure, I would love to. Okay.
Oh, should we introduce ourselves? Just interrupting you again.
My name is Erin.
Do you need the Buster
As you've heard many times, that's E-R-I-N. Do not misspell it. I will destroy you.
She gets very angry.
I get it.
Right. So, what, you just want me to...
Yeah, just start
right into it.
Are we going to go all 5?
I'm a horribly awkward person. My bad.
How are we going to do this?
No, just do all 5 of hers in a row.
Okay. Are you going to hold it the whole... Okay. You don't have to hold it when you're not speaking. When you are speaking.
I forgot the rules.
You were the one who made the rules.
Okay.
Okay.
So, in no particular order, I would want to have BioShock. Because what I've seen of the game, most of what I've seen is from PlayStation Access. They like to bring that game up a lot, and it looks like a really beautiful game. Just the environment and the surroundings and just everything like that. And I love the idea that you can inject yourself with different powers or whatever. Because I pretty much knew nothing about this game until I started watching PlayStation Access. I knew about Big Daddy, and it looked like a terrifying game, so I was like, okay, nope, not for me.
It's actually not too scary, and this is coming from the person who is the biggest wimp in the world when it comes to scary video games.
Yeah.
I got through it. I beat it.
She is.
There was a couple of moments where I was terrified, but I think you can do it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good desert
I think I can handle that. If I can do Thief, which has at least a little bit of horror in every game.
You mean the level you made me play?
Yes.
Okay. Elsa's like, that was nothing.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, BioShock, it's not survival horror, but it is enough like survival horror that when I told people in the past that I like survival horror, one of the first things that they'll say is, oh, like BioShock? And I'm like, no.
Like, that that's child's play.
But yeah, I mean, sure, yeah, it's a good game.
That's the game I fall asleep to at night.
Seriously, no.
Yeah, so I'd say that's probably you're challenging yourself with your Desert Island games. This is good. It's good
for sure. And you know, it's nice to have a variety if we're going to be stuck on an island for who knows how long.
The rest of your life.
Yeah. Plus, the story looks really intriguing, and I mean, it's already been spoiled for me, but that's okay. I mean,
that's a bummer.
It is.
It's really fun to just find out in the moment.
Yeah, I feel like I'll still have a really good time with it. Anyway, the next game is one that has not come out yet. It was supposed to come out the 28th of this month, but has been pushed to 2019, so I guess it's not quite as bad as what's happening with Final Fantasy VII. Because at least we know it's next year.
At least it's coming out.
At least it has a year. a set year. Is Code Vein, which has been described as anime Dark Souls.
Yes.
And I think basically I think everyone is a vampire at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the story, but the gameplay looks amazing, and you always have like another like NPC fighting with you. I don't know if they're NPCs or if you can choose which one you play as, but you always have someone with you that you can count on to help you fight, and maybe even heal you if need be. But it looks like an amazing game. It looks challenging, but everything I've seen about it, I'm like, I must have you.
Yeah, that game looks really cool.
Severely disheartened when I found out it was not coming out the 28th. I had it on my calendar. I never have stuff like that on my calendar.
I can't believe it got pushed back so far. I didn't realize it was supposed to come out this month. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
So sad.
I know. It does suck. But hopefully that means they're just going to make it even more amazing. So I'll wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have a really great game later than a game they probably should have held on to a while longer now.
That's for sure.
For sure. Because time moves really fast and it's kind of frightening.
The wait is painful, but there's other games in the meantime you can play to distract yourself from that whole...
Yeah, and I do have games that I need to focus on right now, so it's probably a good thing. Okay, Elder Scrolls 6. We must always have an Elder Scrolls game.
Yes.
I've only played Skyrim and Elder Scrolls Online, but I freaking love both of them. And I feel like if I didn't have an Elder Scrolls game in my life, I would just be really bored and kind of sad. I mean, if you're going to be trapped on an island, you want to have a game that you can literally play forever. I mean, I've told you guys my first Skyrim profile, I don't know, I'm like level 60 or higher. I don't even know how many hours of side quests I have left. Like, I have no idea. I'm sure it's so many. I have so many in my backlog, and I'm sure infinite amount of quests I haven't even discovered yet.
Yeah.
So just something
Plus, there's
like
the
that.
radial quests you can accidentally be doing for a really long time and not realize that they just never end.
Which quests?
There's some radial quests that you can pick up. Like there's one where you have to go hunt down a giant, and like there's some where you got to go pick up some bounties or something. And you can literally just do those over and over again because they just come back. Like don't ever go to a tavern and ask like the guy for work.
Problem.
Yeah, don't ever ask for work from like the tavern owners because those ones you can't actually complete them.
Oh wow!
They'll just like those are for if you somehow manage to do everything else and you're like I just want the game to continue endlessly. Then you can go get those ones.
Get those ones.
Yeah, because they'll just come back.
I think they have the same problem with Red Eagle's Sword.
Oh yeah, that one
I
just
completed that quest, and then I picked up a book, and it gave me the quest again, and I thought, no, I've already done it. Why are you giving this to me again? So that must be one of those.
That one I think might be bugged. Yeah, that one always comes back. As soon as I see the book a second time, I'm like, oh, no, you're not getting me with that one again.
I know what you're doing. Okay, let's see. Number 4 is Devil May Cry 5. Because like Elder Scrolls, it is one of my absolute favorite game franchises of all time. I don't want to sound like a hipster, but I feel like when Devil May Cry first came out, no one knew about it, and I absolutely loved it, and it made me so sad that no one played it, and now it's exploded into this massive thing, and I think that's wonderful, because everyone should have Dante and Devil May Cry in their lives.
That's fair. I mean, I'm pretty sure you were the one who told me about Devil May Cry back in the day.
You were the one who took me to buy Devil May Cry when I was too young to buy it from GameStop, and they carded us, and I don't even remember how we managed to get it.
But I was 17.
Were you?
Yeah.
I don't remember when this happened, so...
Yeah, I think that's why you took me. You're like, I can't get this game. It's rated M. You just turned 17. And I was like, oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
I'm on it.
I couldn't remember how that went down. All I remember is that I was not old enough to buy it.
Yep.
That was great.
The ripe old age of 17. But it's an amazing hack and slash game, but one where you can also feel that you really do have to be quite skilled. That game is hard. I'm definitely not as good as I was when I was young. I don't know what happened. I bought the what is it? The
what? I don't know.
The
better graphic.
The remastered.
Remastered,
Okay.
yes. The remastered edition for Xbox.
It's okay. Words are hard.
Yeah.
They are hard. Remastered for Xbox. And I mostly blamed my lack of skill on the Xbox controller.
It's because you should have gotten a PlayStation.
I should have, but I didn't have a
It's
PlayStation.
Game.
And I really wanted it, so I
That
just...
game belongs on PlayStation.
I just went, it does. It does. It really does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mostly blame it on the controller, but then I realized, oh, I've gotten older, which means my skill in video games has probably gone down. Just like with Halo. Inexplicably, one day, I sucked at Halo.
We should play more Halo.
We should.
Yeah.
Still need to beat Reach.
I know. We got so distracted killing each other, we
10
never actually
years.
went and beat the game.
My last game, and I really hope I don't regret this because it is Bloodborne.
You won't regret it. You might have a couple of tough hours.
You might regret it for the first little while, but just get through that first little bit without snapping the disc in half and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Because as far as I know, that doesn't have any multiplayer options. And even if it did, I'm on an island with no internet connection.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that due to the nature of this thought exercise, probably your PvP options are pretty limited.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yes, so...
That's a good one.
It just looks so cool. When I first saw the trailer, I didn't know about it till I was looking at games on your PS4. Mm-hmm. And I saw it and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll look at the trailer. And the trailer was horrifying. And I thought, oh my gosh, I will never play that. That's terrible. So much blood, so much horribleness. So scary.
So good.
But then I found out it was the same people who did Dark Souls. And I thought, oh, maybe the trailer makes it look more terrifying and disgusting than it really is.
It doesn't even begin to broach how terrifying and disgusting it is, and you have to play it.
It's amazing. It's really
Well,
fun.
I will stick to that.
Yeah, you do have to, like, soldier on through the first little bit. You will hate it at the first.
I think people who...
If you're like me, you'll hate it at first, and then you'll be like, okay, I think I'm getting it. If you're like Ailsa, you'll be like, this is easier than Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, I think people who played the Dark Souls games probably did have an easier time picking up Bloodborne. But I kind of feel like what's even more true is that people who start with Bloodborne have a real Bloodborne. People who start with
Protals.
People who start with Bloodborne probably have a much easier time with Dark Souls because its play style, well, I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of a subtle difference in how the game encourages you to fight.
Okay.
With Dark Souls, I think that they reward caution a lot, and with Bloodborne, I'd say they reward like aggression more so than anything else.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest difference. And one of my biggest problems with Dark Souls was always that I would be way too aggressive when I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I've...
she's very aggressive in those games. And so it works for her with Bloodborne. She just, like, charges in there when she probably should be backing off.
Yeah.
Well, but it's
but
okay,
it has
because you get back your health.
You get back your health, and it's taught me to be very patient with myself and my own reaction times.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you just kind of have to learn to adopt different styles through the games, but the familiarity of how good the fighting style feels is there with both games.
Yeah.
With both.
Right.
Stories. Do I need to hold the Buster Sword?
No, you don't. You're good.
You're fine. You're laughing
I
at
know,
me.
because I was just thinking about how funny it is that we're almost talking about this, like, you're going to do this. These are the games you're playing for the rest of your life.
We drag you onto that desert island.
These are the games you'll be playing, so this is what you need to do.
I didn't know that's what I signed up for when we started this podcast.
Erin, that's what we were always planning to do. You're the only one who answered the question, because we're going to go drag you to a desert island right now and make you play these games
It's
for the rest
okay,
of
though,
your life.
because you will
You'll get
be
Code
there.
Vein next year.
You'll be there. You'll be there with a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and a nice.
Wait, does she need an
1490?
Xbox One? I think all those games are good on PlayStation.
Well, but
Yeah, I think they're all.
wouldn't we like
they
favor
can
the option for some of them though? Oh no, those are all. Really
Oh no,
good.
Bioshock's better on Xbox.
Okay.
You'd want
so
that.
we
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better on Xbox.
Wow. Okay. Good to know. I have it for Xbox. so-
Jensen's the one who has
That's good.
really firm opinions about what system you play which game on. I just take her word for it.
I tend to be the same, actually.
I so far have never disagreed with you.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for the day when I do because I think you might just like murder me. Possibly.
I know what I like.
Yeah. Okay. So those are your 5 games.
Those are my 5 games.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Beautiful. Okay, Jensen, what are your 5 games?
Okay. So, number 1 is Metal Gear Solid 5. That's my stealth. I know it's really long, too, so that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely found myself leaning towards longer games for this exercise. Just because the whole idea is that if you can only play these games for the rest of your life, they might as well be.
They might as well take up the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like Skyrim.
Yeah.
Which, my next one is Elder Scrolls 6 also.
Oh, hey. Yeah.
Because, again, something I can play for the rest of my life. And, you know, even if by some horrible chance it's not very good, I don't care. It's Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's
definitely.
That's my next one. Definitely Elder Scrolls. And then Fable 4, another one that I'm worried might be terrible, but I don't care. Because it's Fable.
That one has a release date.
Not a release date, but it's for sure happening.
Oh, okay.
They just like, it's
I don't know. Seems like we're fudging it here.
no, it's happening.
Okay. Okay.
If it doesn't happen, then
You're
I'll
stuck
just be
with
really
4
sad.
games.
You're stuck with 4 games.
I'm stuck with 4 games.
On your desert island.
It's okay. But Fable 4, if it happens, which I'm guessing it's going to, because it really seems like it's happening, okay? It's going to happen. That would just be fantastic, because I can't choose any of the others in the Fable series. I've played them all, except for the terrible Kinect one, and I don't want that one. But I want to be able to play Fable. If I'm stuck on a desert island, I want to be able to play that game. I hate those games. I love those games. They're stupid, and I love them. They're really, really bad, but I don't care.
Yeah, Jensen just wants to be left alone with her garbage.
Yes, I want to be just left alone with my garbage. I don't need anyone telling me how they didn't like the ending of 2, or they didn't like that 3 made you get a bunch of money in order to be able to save everyone, which was actually not that hard to do. You guys need to calm down. It was really easy to just buy every piece of property in the entire game.
Am I remembering this wrong, or did you do that by accident?
Yes, I had the money already when I...
By accident.
Yeah, by accident. I just
Just
had it.
because you just played the game that way.
Yeah, because I just bought every single piece of property in the whole game.
Because I remember a lot of people crying about how it was impossible to do that ending, and you were just...
It was fine.
You were just sipping your tea and cackling.
Yes. But, so, that's game number 3.
Oh, I wonder if the mic picked up my back cracking just then.
Oh. I bet you anything it did.
I accidentally cracked my knuckles earlier.
That's okay. I do that habitually too.
Yeah.
So. It feels
It's
amazing.
an automatic thing. Wait, there was a Connect Fable?
Yes, there was.
What does that even mean?
We're just gonna glide right over that.
I didn't pay too much attention to it. I actually don't know anything about it except that it was Connect, and I think I saw a screenshot from it. But I remember it had the purple box, and I saw that and I went, I don't think that's very good. And it wasn't like, I don't think that's very good, like, well, it's Fable, so whatever. It was like, I don't think that's very good, like, I think that's broken. So I didn't try it. What was my 4th game? I didn't write these down.
What?
Oh, Jensen.
I gave you a couple of days.
Oh yeah.
The artifice of this is breaking apart.
I'm sorry. Okay. 4th game is Lego Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because I haven't played that one. That's one of the few that I haven't played any of. It's that one in Pirates of the Caribbean and Lego City Underground. But I think that Lord of the Rings would be a longer one, I think. And it would be really fun. I love Lego games. They're so, like, silly and I love them. I played the Star Wars saga, and that one took me like 50 hours to get through, to 100% it, and to get almost every single achievement except for the one that you need a friend for. I have no friends that play Lego Star Wars. So
it just makes you happy.
Yeah, they're really fun games. And so Lego Lord of the Rings, I definitely would want to play that if I have to only play 5 games for
It's a good idea. I think I chose a lot of heavy games.
You gotta have light games somewhere.
You gotta throw in your Stardew Valley or something.
Oh yeah.
Which I would have chosen if I hadn't already played it for 300 hours. I can't try to pretend that I haven't played that one.
Yeah.
And then my last game is Cyberpunk 2077. I am so excited for this game, you guys. Mm-hmm. And it's the kind of game where there's enough customization that I really feel like even if I decided that the other 4 games I didn't really like that much, I think I could still be fine with just Cyberpunk 2077 for the rest of my game, my life.
Period. Like you just
for
make
the rest of my life.
Over and over again.
Yeah, I just make a new character every once in a while, try different things.
Yeah.
Be fun.
By the way, I didn't know that game was adapted from like a tabletop game.
Yeah.
Like Dungeons and Dragons. Cyberpunk 2020.
I think it's just 2020.
Yeah, just 2020. Which PlayStation Access is doing.
Oh yeah,
I
they're doing
saw
a Let's
that.
Play kind of thing.
I haven't watched any of them yet, but I did see that they were playing the game.
Yeah, I watched the first one. It was fantastic.
Nice.
So,
You have to check those out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't played too many games that are adapted from like games like that, tabletop games. But the only other one I can think of was Vampire the Masquerade, and that game was fantastic. So I'm really hopeful for Cyberpunk 2077. Like another one adapted from a tabletop game.
Mm-hmm. That could be a good.
Could be really good.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about adaptations later.
Yeah,
but like
Sweet.
I'm jumping the gun.
You are a little. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, so my 5 games. This one was hard for me because I feel like all of my favorite games are survival horror, and especially I like the sort of short, consumable stories where it's just 12 to 20 hours and I'm done. And, like, that doesn't really work for this exercise because the idea is that, like, if I can only play these games for the rest of my life, I have to pick stuff that's a little longer. So that might have influenced my decision a bit. Like, this is slightly cheating because I'm going to mention a game that's not on my list. But, like, I already bought Detention and I haven't gotten the chance to play it yet. And I would be really sad if I was locked on Desert Island without my Switch and I couldn't play Detention. But, like, it's such a short game, I couldn't really justify using it.
Yeah,
so
I'd probably end up playing it hundreds of times. And then
I'd go crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you play a survival horror game more than I don't know. I mean, I've played some of them several times, so that I need to be careful about how many times.
How many times?
Like where I need to be careful where like the event horizon is that I'm crossing, because I'm in danger of crossing it.
I know.
Maybe I would be fine bringing some of those shorter games. Anyway, so the games that I ended up picking were Prey.
Nice.
Especially with the DLC, that's one that you can play like forever. Apparently, but I don't know much about it because I've only ever seen like a little bit of gameplay.
Yeah.
I haven't actually played it. I purposefully avoided hearing anything about the storyline because I want to just experience it for myself.
That's one that I own and still haven't played.
Yeah, I remember that. You like pre-ordered it, you went out, got it the day of, you were so ready, and then you played Mass Effect again for like the 500th time.
Yeah.
I think is what happened.
I think so. Well, actually, that might have been when I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, that's right.
It was around the same time.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's acceptable.
Yeah, I could see.
Or it was Witcher. It was one of those that I was playing at the time.
You
Witcher
have
had
to-
come out before, but I was playing it at the same time.
Well,
as
and
Horizon
I
Zero
guess
Dawn.
if it was Witcher, that's way more acceptable because didn't you have an assignment in school that you
Yes.
had to?
I had to beat that game for
Yeah.
that class. For my narrative class.
That's all right. I remember that.
That was fun.
That was
Best class ever.
It was a couple of months where I didn't really see her. Yeah, because she's a
I was
completionist.
just playing Witcher all day.
Yeah, and then this one has a firm release date, so I went ahead and picked Death Stranding. It does. We were kind of discussing the fact that it does look a little bit like it's going to be Fetch Quest. the game. With like a survival horror bent, and I thought about it and I decided I think I'm gonna be okay with that. Like I feel like that might be not worst case scenario because that could even be really fun, but that I think that for a lot of people that would be worst case scenario with that game.
Yeah.
If it just turned out to be a really creepy Fetch Quest game. But I'd probably love it.
Here, go get me this thing from this terrible place. This horrible swamp with monsters in it.
That actually sounds like really fun. Okay.
That's basically the asylum level on Thief Deadly Shadows is one giant scary fetch quest that no one wants to do.
I liked it.
You mean
That
the
was
orphanage?
the only level of that game I played.
No, this one is
Oh, I thought you said the asylum.
The third Thief. It is an asylum.
Wait, I thought it was an orphanage in that.
It was
one.
both.
It was both?
Well, at one point
Okay.
it was
Crazy
an
orphans?
orphanage, and at another point
Okay.
it was an asylum, and then
Okay.
it burned down. And
Oh, well, that's just asking to be haunted.
that's the yeah.
At what point that's overkill?
Yeah.
At some
Right?
point you just bulldoze the place.
Really,
and then
though.
you just leave it just as a flat bit of ground.
I'm sorry.
You don't even build anything
There
on
was
there
too
again.
many broken dreams in this
Yeah.
building. It's definitely haunted.
I think he even says that.
Oh.
Feels like a place of bad dreams, something like that.
Oh.
He mentions
Oh.
bad dreams.
Wow.
Garrett the Master Thief is terrified of this place, and you know you're screwed when that happens.
Oh.
Anyway, I digress.
It's okay. I also we have a game in common on our list. I also chose Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yes.
Because I have played some Metal Gear games in the past, but I've never completed one.
Yeah, me
And
either.
I never even started 5, but I keep hearing from everyone that it's just a really good experience.
Yeah.
And
I've heard lots of good things
in
about
spite of a certain character's ridiculous outfit, it's a really great game. Is what I like. People say almost those exact words to me.
Yeah.
On like a weekly basis, and I'm like, I own it. I'm gonna play it, but then I haven't done it yet. And then Nier Automata is another one that I am a little ashamed to admit I haven't started yet.
it. Nice.
It's been a tough couple of years,
need
you
to start
guys.
that
Don't know if I've heard of that one.
Well, it looks really cool. You probably have heard of it, if only because I feel like everybody was talking about the music that year.
And
you're the music person.
you might have heard people arguing about how to pronounce the name of it. I still don't know what.
Nier
is.
Automata?
Yeah, but I
Or
heard
Nier
people-
Automata?
I've heard both, and I don't know which it
Onomatopoeia?
is.
I think I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, it looks beautiful. From what I've seen of the gameplay, it seems like it's probably one of those games that is very satisfying to play, like really responsive as far as your fighting goes.
I've played it a bit. That's why I couldn't put it on the list.
I think I
But
have this on
It's fun.
a list of games that I want to play.
Oh, you have it on the list
Pretty
already?
sure I added that
Yeah.
recently.
It's really good.
I did add it.
I bet that somebody was
It's a good
like,
one.
this game has really good music. But there's more to it than the music.
Yeah.
Yes, the music's
The
good.
music
but
is
like,
good, but
there's lots of other things.
I think it
about
was PlayStation Access again, which is where I found most of my new games that I'd never heard of.
nice.
They're our sponsor. No, just kidding.
Yeah. They should be.
Seriously.
Let's see. And then, okay, so I mentioned, oh yeah, and then the last one is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Watched a beautiful explanation from PlayStation Access about the how the fighting is going to be a bit different than other From Software games, and it made me so excited to get my hands on this game. So really looking forward to that next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are my 5 games that I would want on a desert island that I have never played.
Very nice.
Nice. Nice.
Very good list.
Okay. Yeah. I thought so. What are your early childhood memories that are game related?
Oh man.
Yeah. And we'll start with you again, Erin.
Oh,
because
dear.
We're
This
gonna
is
pick on
working.
you.
This is quite the words again. Undertaking.
Undertaking?
Undertaking.
The On-Taking. Wow.
I know it was something taking.
The on-taking?
This is a serious problem I have. I forget the most common words all the time.
It's okay. I mean, it should be
so
on-taking.
frustrating.
You're taking it on. So, Erin has made the English language more efficient.
That's right. Put it in the dictionary.
So, this is quite the on-taking.
Alert the press. I am streets ahead.
No. No.
That's not a thing, Erin.
Okay, sorry.
So go back to your childhood.
Back to my
regrets right now.
childhood. Okay, let's see if I can find the earliest memory. I have of video games. Probably the earliest memory would be when we moved into my grandparents' basement while we were building this house. We lived there for 2 years, and they had a Nintendo Entertainment System and a Super Nintendo. And we, in our household, were not allowed to have video game consoles, even though we could play PC games, which would come later, I guess. Anyway, it didn't make sense. But
It was kind of an arbitrary thing.
it was. It really was. And the reasoning for that actually was so that we wouldn't fight over video games, but PC games were all single player, so figure that one out. Sorry, love you, Mom and Dad.
We can diss our parents all I want. They're not going to listen to this.
But my wonderful grandmother, being the loving woman that she was, knew that we and all our cousins wanted to play Nintendo, so she went out and bought those for us.
Aw, good grandma.
Yeah, she started with the NES, and then shortly after the Super Nintendo came out, she got us that. Anyway, I watched my brothers and my cousin play the Nintendo all the time, so Super Mario Brothers, Mario 3, Diddy's Conquest mostly, which was amazing. And we also had Duck Hunt, which was fantastic. I was actually pretty good at that game. But yeah, I mostly started with that, and I know when I played Super Mario World, I would just have my brother put me in that little area where you get mushrooms and Yoshi, because I was too afraid to do anything else. And one time I accidentally jumped out of there and didn't know how to get back in, so I think I just kind of went exploring and ended up doing like another level, and I was like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this. So I think that was my start. And then Diddy's Conquest I was really, really good at, because I played the first level over and over again. But yeah, I'd say that's where That's where it all began for me.
So nice.
Our stories are probably going to be
It's
super
kind of
similar.
the same, yeah.
Super Nintendo.
Jensen and I are sisters,
Yes.
and because we grew up in the same household, we have a really similar story, which I think is that, like, our grandparents, they weren't really anti-video game, but they were pretty skeptical,
Yeah.
I'd say.
I don't
like,
think they thought about it much.
they didn't,
It was like, games, like, what are those?
Yeah, so, like, all
For a
of our experiences
Obviously,
with video
that's not the
games-
same anymore.
Yeah,
They're, like,
They love them.
super into games. Especially Mom. Mom's, like, super into games.
we have almost convinced Mom to start
Mom played
Dark
until
Souls.
dawn, and she only lost Matt.
That's amazing.
Because she wanted to play true to his character.
Yeah, and she felt like he would sacrifice himself. So that was Mom's decision. We were like, all right, you could have saved all of them, but whatever. You just
You
want to.
want to be true to the character.
She's cute. No, but like I remember growing up that mainly I was exposed to video games through going to other people's houses for a long time because it just wasn't something we did and it wasn't something they talked about. So like I'd go over to my cousins and they had a Sega.
You play Sonic.
Yeah,
Nice.
I loved Sonic.
Sega.
I loved Sonic. I loved Street Fighter, which they also I remember they had that one for a while, and they had like some of the sort of like Disney games, you know, like Aladdin. And the ones that they had they put out to like go along with the release of the films.
They had the Roadrunner game. And
That one was kind of dumb.
That might have been the first game that I beat. It was either that one, The Little Mermaid, or Prince of Persia. I don't remember
That's
which.
a later question, but let's just ask that question now. What was the first game you beat?
I don't know. I just said I can't remember.
It was either the Roadrunner game.
I don't know either, because I don't think I've... Have I beaten Super Mario Brothers?
You're gonna
I
say
don't
I don't
know.
think I have beaten the game.
I just leave them all uncompleted. It might have been that. I don't know. Except I can't claim that I played all of the levels. I just know I've beaten Bowser before.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah, I mean, similarly, I think that there was a lot of games that I played for a while and I didn't even really have a concept of, like, beating it. I in fact, I remember, I think the first game I ever beat might have even been something as late as, like, Ocarina of Time. But I remember going back and playing Sega games for fun later and realizing that I had stopped like one level from the end and being kind of frustrated
Story
with that.
of my life.
Like I remember playing Sonic at one point and being like, wait, that's all there is? Like I should have beaten this years ago. And I was a little angry. But like, yeah, it was mostly you go over to a friend's house and they'd have a game system. Like this was my experience with it. And then I'd be like, oh, can I play? And they'd be like, you can play until you die. And then they'd take the controller from you and they'd put it on hard mode.
What?
And they'd hand it over to you.
Oh.
Because jerks.
I had the same experience with Kim.
Yeah.
He'd be like, you can play until you die.
Sounds about right.
And then
for
he
Kim.
found out that I was good enough that I didn't die very much. And then we started playing together.
Yeah.
Then we played multiplayer games.
And that was really when we started playing a lot more, was our parents figured out that this was something we really liked. I think we begged them for a Sega
Yeah,
Genesis.
they got us a Sega with Little Mermaid and some
racing game that I don't remember.
I don't remember the name of it. I did play it.
Yeah.
I
remember
always
watching
played
you play
as
it.
the indie car, and I don't remember like anything else that happened. It was a racing game. I don't really play racing games at all.
Yeah.
That was like the only one.
We played that one though.
I played that one.
I played
but it's just
Project Gotham.
they're making a left
Project Gotham's a
turn.
good one.
They're making another left turn, and that's the whole game. And so I was like, because it was on a racetrack. It was literally just like this,
Oh.
just in a circle.
Well,
I think there were like 4 or 5 racetracks you could choose from, but like there's not a ton. There weren't a ton of variations.
Yeah.
So it was just like
Round
sometimes it was a figure 8.
but then the more time we spent at Kim's, the more we got exposure to games
Yeah.
and stuff because he and his family were really into them.
Yeah.
And they would always get stuff like right when it dropped. And
yeah.
So like we would just go over there to play things whenever we were interested in it. And he was pretty generous with lending us games, which is my segue into our next question. That was so smooth. So games you borrowed and never returned.
Yes. We have so many.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Okay, I'll actually tell my story first. Okay, so Kim, who was very generous with his games, he came over to, I remember distinctly, he came over to our house and we had an N64 at this point, and he brought Castlevania 64, and he was like, I want to watch you play this one. And I don't remember what prompted this, but I just remember he, he put the game in, he gave me the controller, and but this time, he didn't set it to hard. I think I set it to normal. Because I usually would play the game on normal, and I started playing the game, and he kept insisting that I couldn't borrow it, that like he just wanted to watch me play it for a little while, and then I got to a certain part in the game, and he started to freak out, and I couldn't figure out why. I was really confused, and I was sort of not paying attention to him because I was like playing my game, and eventually he's like, all right, you can borrow it overnight, I'll get it later. And I figured out that it was, later he told me, it was because when he'd played the game, he'd played it on easy. And when you play this game on easy, it stops,
early.
Oh.
Several levels
early. And I had surpassed the point where he thought the game was over.
Oh.
And I kept playing, and he was realizing that he'd made a terrible mistake. But at this point, he felt guilty enough that he was gonna let me actually finish my game. And for whatever reason, he never took that game back, and we still have it. Mm-hmm. We found the cartridge, and I was, very, very nostalgic about it. Mm-hmm. That's also one of those games that has multiple endings.
Yeah.
And apparently I got what is considered the bad ending. Mm-hmm. For my character.
It's way better.
I know. I don't know. I might have to write a passionate argument about why that ending is actually the best one. But whatever. Anyway, that's the game I borrowed and never gave back.
My cousin Tanner and I actually decided to swap games one time. I borrowed his Mega Man, and I lent him my Pokemon Yellow in return. And we forgot to switch them back. We just never did. So I still have his Mega Man game, and he still has my Pokemon Yellow, and I kind of want it back. I miss my Pokemon Yellow.
You should probably call Toby.
I know.
And just be like, hey, when your husband's not around, could you just look through his stuff and see if he has a copy?
I did end up just buying the backwards compatible one for
okay, wow.
For the 3DS.
Probably
because I was I want to play Pokemon Yellow really badly, but I don't know, I might bring it up to him next time I see him. But ones that I've borrowed from Kim, the list is enormous. I will just name the one that I feel is the probably one that I probably should have tried to return to him because it seems kind of important. I borrowed his Game Shark for Nintendo 64 forever ago, and he probably would have liked to have that back at some point.
My.
But he never asked for it.
He was really good about taking his games back.
Yeah.
So I think he wanted you to have that Game Shark.
I know. Now I have the Game Shark, and it's fun because I can make it so Link can fly. So that's good.
That was the one thing I ever used.
You can use it to make it so when you press the L button, Link levitates in Ocarina of Time.
That's amazing.
You can also get all the masks in Majora's Mask, super early, so you can run around as fierce deity. It's really fun.
Nice. I didn't use the Game Shark very often, but I know that was probably the one thing that I just loved it for. Was making Link fly.
Yeah, that one was really, really fun.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was just, yeah.
I also have his copy of Mega Man X on Super Nintendo. And some dumb basketball game.
Why didn't you just buy your own Mega Man games, Jensen?
I swear I had more, too, but I can't find any of them.
Erin, are you a better person than us, or have you borrowed games that you've never returned?
Well, I think I just haven't had the opportunity to be a bad person like you, right? But, so the only chance I had to play N64 was probably at your house.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I went to Caitlin's house, but only if she hadn't used all of her video game time for the day, which was like an hour or something.
Video game time.
Oh my gosh, that like brought back so many horrible memories.
Yes,
Our
so
parents
many.
tried to institute something like that for a while.
Yeah.
They did. They gave up hard.
They definitely gave up by the time I was playing Link to the Past, because there was that one day where I played it for 7 hours and didn't save.
Oh gosh.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Dark night.
The first video game console we actually had in our house was the original Xbox, because my brother finagled his way into buying one because he told my dad, Microsoft is coming out with this awesome console, and my dad's like, oh, Microsoft, and it can play DVDs, and he's like, oh yeah, well, if you can save enough money you can get one, and it's like,
nice.
Yes. So it took us that long to get a console in our house, so all of the games I played were on my brother's Xbox because I couldn't get my own console. I was only probably 10 at the time. What was it, 2000?
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you'd be 10.
Yeah, that's when Halo came out. I remember that. So didn't have an opportunity to really borrow anything because they were all my brothers and the console was in his room, so I just had to go and play his stuff.
So you were borrowing the whole console.
I was. Yeah, basically every day I borrowed the console, just kept it in the same room. That's all.
What we're going to talk about for our last little subject, and this one isn't really a question so much as it's just posing a subject that we are going to muse upon. Adaptations. So, I mean, it's no secret that filmmakers have struggled to adapt video games. And I was thinking about this for a couple of reasons this week. First of all, there's this news that Henry Cavill, and we've already discussed the fact that we're all pretty big fans of Henry Cavill.
For the most part.
For the most part. Like, I wouldn't say we're like
He's not my favorite, but I don't have anything negative to say about him.
And like, I follow his Instagram.
Yeah.
I've heard you defend his portrayal of Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he was fine.
Yeah.
He definitely did not deserve the vitriol.
Does Erin have an opposing opinion on this one?
I do. I think he's the perfect Superman.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to be like, I hate him. And I was going to be like, oh, okay. Sorry.
No, I thought I remembered that we
he's
all liked Henry Cavill as Superman. Like, I think he's actually pretty great.
Like, I don't know. I don't have anything negative to say about him.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice the mustache.
So he's not going to be Superman anymore.
In Justice League.
I mean, who knows? It's one of those things where, like, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me too much if at some point they were just like, just kidding, here he is as a cameo playing Superman again. And, like, that wouldn't be shocking.
Yeah.
But apparently the rumor is he's not going to do it anymore. But
So sad.
almost simultaneously it was announced that he's going to play Geralt in the Netflix television adaptation of The Witcher.
Yeah.
Which I think we have reason to be hopeful for that one.
I'm hopeful. I'm a little worried that he's both too young and too pretty. But
Yeah, I mean, I think Geralt's very attractive,
he's
and
attractive,
I think Henry
but he's
Cavill's very
also-
attractive.
he's the kind of attractive, like
But they're attractive in different
like
ways.
how sometimes a guy who's like, just got kind of a deformed face is attractive. It's like he's been in a lot of fights, he's covered in scars, but somehow
It works
still
for
attractive.
him.
Yeah,
It works.
that's how I see Geralt. So I'm a little worried about that, but I'm not like,
I guess there's a lot you can
I'm
do
hopeful.
with makeup.
yeah. I'm a little worried too that his complexion is dark enough that like, unless they get the same wig that
Emily Clark.
Emily Clark wears as Khaleesi, I think that I'm a little worried that he'll look weird with
Well,
white
Game
hair.
of Thrones is over. They can just call this.
Just like steal the same wig and put it on.
Just repurpose it.
We have all Khaleesi's wigs.
It'll
like-
be way too beautiful.
I'm a little worried that his hair is gonna look really fake if it like
I don't know. We'll see.
unless they just I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know.
But
But I'm
I-
excited though.
I
I'm
do
excited to
think-
see it. I'm a little bit. I don't know.
I think
what
we
the word
have
is.
reason to be hopeful because
Yes.
personally, when I think of good video game adaptations, that's a real short list.
Yeah.
But I would say that Castlevania, the anime that Netflix,
And all the Resident Evils.
Yes, but I mean that
I love them personally.
They're brilliant.
Even though they're stupid, I don't care.
I mean, those are your favorite adaptations of all time, and I get it.
Specifically, the 5th one, or the 4th one, or the 1st one. I can't decide. Those are the 3 best.
Yeah,
the 3rd one is stupid.
Okay, but
Second
they're
one's
not
fine.
like they're amazing.
They're all
films.
stupid, but the 3rd one is particularly stupid.
I think the Resident Evil films are a lot of fun. Those are amazing films, but are they good video game adaptations?
No. Well, that's not why I watch them. I watch them for Mila Jovovich and zombies.
She is very watchable.
Yes.
Quite watchable. Anyway, so we were so speaking of video game adaptations, earliest video game adaptations that you remember, like back before we knew that it was a crapshoot.
No, you know what my answer's gonna be, and I don't want to relive it.
So, Kim had a favorite movie that he would make us watch over and over and over again. It was Super Mario Brothers. He loved that movie. And he'll deny it now. Like,
oh yeah, now he would be like, no, I didn't like that movie.
Yeah,
he'd say it exactly like that because now he's too cool for everything. He'd be like, I didn't like that movie. He'd be like, no, you did.
He made me watch it at least 12 times.
Yeah.
He like owned it.
Yeah.
And it was like it was the one VHS on the shelf that like didn't have any dust on it.
We watched it so much.
We watched it so many times.
Ugh.
And that film is incredible.
What?
It's so unbelievable.
Why did they?
Oh,
They made it.
That kind of incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
As in,
like the older meaning of
there's
incredible.
no credibility to this existing.
Why in the world did they decide that Mario's name was Mario?
I don't know.
That's the you're gonna take issue with?
That still bugs the crap out of me.
Because they were like,
his name is Mario and his brother is Luigi Mario. Why?
The Mario Brothers.
Why? Why?
I just remember.
I get it now.
I just remember the confusion with at the end when one's wearing yellow and one wearing purple, and Kim trying to convince us that it's because they're now Wario and Waluigi.
I don't think they're smart enough for that.
Like seriously, what I remember that movie fondly in a way because I sort of feel like that might have been Kim trolling us.
It might have been like, haha, they think I like it. But I don't.
I'm just tormenting
We're just gonna watch it over and over again so I can torture them.
Before trolling was like a cultural thing, I feel like Kim was a natural born troll.
I'd believe it.
Do we want to wrap up our...
Goodbye.
What's our outro?
We don't have an outro. We don't have an intro. We don't have any conventions. This was a mess.
This was really thrown together.
Like, we don't know what we're doing at this
Well,
point.
it's our first one. So.
Wow, 90 minutes for our
So
first
be
one.
expected.
We're going to shave that down to what's usable. It's going to be 20 minutes long. Tops. Like,
Our Desert Island games are going to go from 5 to 2. Maybe 2.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Let's maybe end with one, like, short one
Oh
here.
gosh. Another 20 minutes.
Okay, let's just talk about... I don't know. I think we kind of actually covered most of the nostalgia questions. Oh, here's a good one. Bosses or levels that still haunt our nightmares.
The dead hand from Ocarina of Time.
You sure this is going to be a short one?
Yeah, I mean, I think we
Mine
just
was short.
leave it at that. Jensen's done.
Okay.
That was it.
Well, I could say more about him. I could talk about how sometimes I see him in my dreams.
I did have... I mean, if we're talking about literal nightmares, I didn't feel like this scene affected me that much when I actually played it as a kid. But it must have, because I do distinctly remember having nightmares about running through a hedge maze being chased by Frankenstein with a chainsaw.
That's fun.
Castlevania,
So,
64.
Oh,
So, like,
okay.
apparently that scene did have some
I was
effect
like,
on
what
me.
does that have to do with Dead Hand?
At the time, I was just like, this is really fun. I love this. And then I went to bed and my subconscious kicked in. And,
I was a strange child. I love this. This is great.
I can actually add to mine. I'm just gonna go ahead and make it even longer. Just by a little. The Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time, I still have trouble getting through it.
See, that was such a soothing level.
The music is so scary.
The music is beautiful.
And I get lost.
What's wrong with you? It's
I was
so
trying to help
straightforward.
I was trying to help Lainey through it a little while ago, and I was like, ooh, I forgot how scary this place is.
It's like one of the least convoluted levels.
I think
it just leads back to that.
I think it's just Revertigo, you know? It just
agree.
I regress
Levels.
back.
Whatever, I won't argue with you about it. You can be scared of what you're
Kind
scared
of
of.
easy to get around. The Forest Temple is what confused me.
Oh, yeah.
That was a freaking maze.
Yeah, that one is pretty crazy.
Let's see, the level, I already mentioned it earlier. It was that freaking shale bridge cradle from Thief Deadly Shadows. Fantastically horrifying. The background, I won't even call it music, just more like noises.
The background
ambiance.
The background death rattles.
Yeah. In fact, I think that won an award for like
Sound mixing.
not even sound mixing. I just think atmospheric horror because I don't know. I can't say that the enemies themselves are very scary. I don't know. They're pretty
I
terrifying.
don't know, they scared the crap out of me
They're
the one
scary.
time I watched you play it.
They're impatient zombies with weird cages on their heads, and every time they come by, the lights make this like sound and start to flicker.
Can't do it.
You people who
I
don't play
can't
survival
do
horror are so odd to me.
And yeah, just the whole idea of that level that the cradle has basically an intelligence and it won't let you out because it has a memory of you and because you've been in there for so long and it's not going to let you out unless you fake your death.
Ooh.
And you have to go into the past using patient objects or toys, and you have to basically, so there's this girl, her spirit is trapped in there, and so that's why it's a fetch quest, because she's like, the cradle won't let me out because it has too many memories of me. I need you to get the vial of my blood and drop it outside, and I need you to burn my nightgown and go back into the past and clean up my blood stain from where I was murdered.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just
It's like a really involved, like, exorcism.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. It's
Or is it an
pretty-
exorcism when they're not possessing somebody, or when you're just like... No, I think it still is.
I have no idea.
It's been a really long time since I exorcised any spirits, you guys.
But yeah, anyway, the first time I played that level, I don't even know how long it took me to beat it. Like, I just got so scared that eventually I started the game over so that I could play, some enjoyable Thief. And I still have a hard time getting through that level. Anyway, that's my level.
Well, not to make this even more unstructured, but you reminded me of the other reason why I was thinking about adaptations. Which is because that we saw the trailer for Robin Hood.
Yeah. And the whole time I was thinking, it's Thief.
Yeah.
It's Thief.
No,
It's gonna be Thief.
Oh.
Because it looked like it had the same aesthetic and it had sort of the mix of sort of modern day
You could just call it
technology with,
anachronisms.
yeah.
It's anachronistic.
Yeah, but like it had that kind of feel, and I was like, it has to be Thief. And then he started shooting people, and I was
You're
like,
that's
it's not Thief. It's like
Yeah.
you wouldn't be killing people.
I had the same moment, and
It was really sad.
It was so strange because I was like, they're being really hype with this Thief trailer. And then, like, that's kind of odd. It's not, like, very well known. And then they were like, Robin Hood. And I was like, oh no.
Like, I'm
You're
so
like,
disappointed.
Not again.
Another one. And it kind of has a BBC vibe. Like, I think,
Yeah.
like, okay. Speaking of bad things that we love. I
gosh.
watched every episode of that BBC Robin Hood television show. It's not good.
Oh no.
I loved it. for various reasons, but like it's not good. It's full of the same anachronisms in many instances, as I was seeing in this trailer, such as like, why is it that everybody has a smoky eye? Like, like we all be shopping at Sephora in medieval England.
In the Sherwood Forest.
In Sherwood Forest. The Sherwood Forest branch of Sephora.
Buying our eyeshadow called Orgasm.
Not to mention all the like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to get into it. The point is that I loved BBC Robin Hood, even though it's not very good, because Richard Armitage. And, well, I mean, there's other reasons, but Richard Armitage was a big part of it. And Toby Stephens. And, like, Richard Armitage was also the lead character, Trevor Belmont, in Castlevania, which was a good adaptation. I brought it back around. This connects. There is consistency in this podcast episode. Okay, put it in the can.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Hooray.
Okay, bye! I don't know how to end things.
I guess we could think of an outro and then add it in later.
That sounds like too much work. Let's just end it.
Let's just shut it off like mid-sentence. Just